An undergraduate today at a college spends all her or his time worrying about what courses to take. I'm ready to relieve them of that worry. You ever watch shoppers in a mall get petrified by the level of choice and they're running from one end to the other trying to compare? Well, that's what a lot of college students do. They're mall rats. They grew up in the mall. They think that's what life is. You run from one end of the mall to the other. Well, that's not good education, it turns out. The labor market has moved on, so more and more people need master's degrees. So what we're doing is really stretching out the educational process. So not only are we raising the price, we're making you pay it over more years. If we go to a 3-year degree, for the really bright student, they don't waste the senior year of high school the way you do now. They are in a course of study that makes sense instead of meandering. And by the way, they pay 3 years of tuition instead of 4. I've often argued, although people look askance when I do, that Harvard has price power and they actually limit the price of higher education. If you're really going to go to something like a 3-year degree, you just can't make people run faster. You really have to redesign the whole program. 3 things would have to happen. One was the high schools had to do more of the first year of collegiate work. The sort of basic history, basic literature, that can be done in the senior year in high school. When the student comes to college, now coming for the first of 3 years, not 4, they sign up for a program of study. They still have free choice, but once they take the program of study, then they don't have any electives. And they're in a cohort and they work their way all the way through. Then I think the other thing different that will happen is we really will learn to take advantage of the technology. Calculus could be taught really just using essentially a learning sequence, a computerized learning sequence. So some of what you're going to do is not take courses, but you're going to demonstrate competencies. You're not going to get credit for seat time, you're going to get credit for actually being able to do it. The faculty are going to be people who are ready to talk to you because you're ready to talk to them. And it's going to be what I've come to call a lot of just-in-time learning, so that you will study what you need when you need it, not because it's Wednesday this week and that's the subject this week. We're not going to do it everywhere at once. We're going to pick 4 states. And I'd pick big states. California, Ohio, Texas, and New York are my favorites for what it's worth. And if 3 of those states actually moved on it, they'd do it in their public institutions first. California State University goes to 3 years. You're going to 3 years just as fast as you can because you won't survive. Then the innovation cascades across all of higher education. And I think this process, if we did it, could take us 10 years. Americans aren't too patient for 10-year processes, but it might take that to get this done.